Introducing another car to test drive here at PNHQ. Thank you. Behold the Honda Accord, a car exclusively driven by nice people, scroats and allowed. It doesn't appeal to everyone because not everyone is a nice person. And unless you're a nice person, you're just not going to understand the majesty of the Accord. This is the 8th generation Accord. They kept on making them. Maybe they still make them now. My personal favourite Honda Accord was the 7th generation. It just looks so futuristic, so handsome. I mean, this one's quite nice looking as well, but it's one of those cars that looks smaller than it is, whereas the 7th looked properly big. Remember those huge, we're not talking about that car, we're talking about this one. Stick to the point. It's a good sized car, but it is deceptive because of these back windows looking so small. Made even smaller looking by the amount of stickers put on there. Of course, not every Honda Accord is full of stickers, but I am promised when this window's full up, he's going to move on to, well, he's already moved on to that one there. Next is going to be this one, and then the other side. And if he carries on finding YouTube people to follow, he's not going to be able to see where he's going. Style-wise, this Honda does look a bit like it was intended for American use. See, I said American use, not the American market. Believe it or not, some Americans do have taste, and they're the ones that buy a Honda Accord. And so this one is just subtle all round. There's not masses and masses of design gone into it. It's just simple lines, simple angles, really good door handles. That looks like a good, it's not, I was hoping it was metal. It looks like it might be made of metal, but it's not. Not too optimistic with the futuristic styling. They sort of wound it in a little bit. Let's not go over the top. But again, it's subtle. The whole thing's subtle. Compared to the old car, it does look slightly like they couldn't be bothered to design it, but they did. I mean, this is the thing with Honda and pretty much all Japanese cars, is the styling is somewhat hit and miss. They'll do a really nice looking car, and then they'll do one that doesn't really look like anyone's bothered at all, and then they'll do one like this, where they haven't put the kind of effort into it that drew you towards that particular mark in the first place. You don't really drive a Honda or a Toyota because of the styling, do you? You drive it for reliability. You buy one for the promise of reliability, and usually that's it. I like this car, but I don't really find myself drawn to its looks. And that's going to be a recurring point, I think, because I will undoubtedly respect its build quality. So let's have a look at some of that now. Roof rails, quite sturdy. Not as sturdy as they are on the Audi, or comes to think of it, a Peugeot, but strong enough, I'm sure. Flush panel gaps everywhere. No issues with things looking like they haven't been put together properly. Anywhere, in fact. Quite a heavy door. We have to do the proper door shut sound. The official door shut sound of the Honda is clump. And another clump. The word clump, the most suitable description really I can think of. I could choose to be a bit more artistic and intelligent about this, but the word clump just covers it. Incidentally, clump means good. The interior is something that is worthwhile talking about, because obviously it's a luxury car, it's an executive car, it's got leather seats, of which are proper leather. That bit's leather, often these bits aren't. That bit's leather. Oh, it's all leather. There's just that panel there that isn't leather. Isn't that odd? The seat moves with electricity. The seats are also leather in the back. And we have carpet. Actual carpet. I'm always banging on about carpet. One of those small details where I believe car manufacturing and the car business has just lost its way somewhere. By, you know, taking away something that's actually quite nice and giving you something that's cack, I don't think is the way ahead. That's quite a nice feel. A nice sturdy door. Again, with some nice attention to detail. Electric windows, they'll all work. Again, Honda do have a particular button in there that you press if you're wearing high-heeled shoes to move the floor slightly out of the way for you. The dashboard is modern without trying too hard to be overly futuristic. So there's some nice materials. Everything looks like it's going to be up to the job. Blockbusters. The headlining is intact and not sagging, which of course is a problem I'm used to dealing with. Quite a few nice little storage areas, cup holders, etc. Rear view mirror with an on-off button. A conventional handbrake. The Honda Accord comes with some CDs and a boot release, which doesn't work if the engine's running. That makes sense, really. And for a car that is 2008 to 2013, I reckon, the visibility isn't too bad. They make cars with small windows so that they're safer when they get crashed into. But of course, the old problem is you're more likely to back into something if you can't see what's actually out of the back. But it's not as bad as many. Those don't feel quite as sturdy as I was expecting. But all this is nice. All this is nice, isn't it? Let's turn the radio up, see if there's any cricket on. And then if I place it into reverse gear, we will see the mirror adjusts so you don't back into the curb, and the rear camera is activated so you don't back into whatever's behind you. Slightly too many buttons all over the steering wheel. Answer the phone to a man with a big chin who's shouting at you. There's a reminder that your key's in the ignition, and a paddle shift gearbox as well. I don't like that beeping when you've got the key in the ignition, because it means you take the key out of the ignition and then whilst you're sat in the car, the door open to stop yourself from cooking, you're more likely to lose the key, because the ignition is actually quite a convenient place to leave it. Oh, maybe it doesn't work. I'm a backseat passenger. Sometimes, not very often, very rare. So, although I like to try the back of a car out, it's not really of any concern to me because I don't drive a car from the back. It's very, very rare I am a passenger. But it's nice to know that if you do have to treat somebody to your driving, that they are reasonably comfortable whilst they're being scared out of their wits. Oh, the child lock's not on. It's not. This back seat has been designed with a bit of space in mind. It's not really great for legroom. Well, actually, it's not so much the legroom, it's more the angle at which your legs find themselves situated, because the seat's actually quite short. Look, see? Quite short. Oh, it's got a switch for the boot rather than a conventional thingy. And in the boot we find lots of personal belongings, which I won't look into too much. The boot's nice and long, but it's not very wide because it's full of premium audio systems and speakers and things like that, and other little holes. So actually the boot isn't anywhere near as big as I was expecting. It's an electric boot. That's why it didn't just simply release when I pressed that button, because it requires electricity to open, which is stupid. Why do you need electricity to open a boot, eh? Maybe it's a really heavy boot. What about gas struts? That's what normally they're for. I'm sorry, that's one thing so far I'm not massively keen on with this motor vehicle. Have we got a traditional bonnet release? Yes. How easily will I pass this test? I like this bit because when you've never opened the bonnet on a particular car before, how long does it take? How long does it take for you to figure out how it works? Eh? There it is, there it is. Oh gosh, can you believe it? No gas strut on the bonnet. Now that's a rather unusual point. The boot opens with electricity, yet the bonnet needs to be retained with this thing. What kind of time and energy saving device is that? That means you need two hands to open the bonnet up. Maybe the point is maybe it's a rather arrogant point, that if you own a Honda Accord, you'll be opening the boot quite a lot because you have things to move around. Whereas the bonnet, that will remain closed until the following service the following year. There's no need to open the bonnet up of a Honda Accord because it simply never asks you to do. As usual, I've gone off on a tangent and off down the wrong end of the yard. So I've come back to where the engine is located. And it's located under the bonnet. And I presume that the owner of this car's never even seen this engine. But now he will be able to do because it's on my video. And there it is. 2.4 double overhead cam with about 200 brake horsepower. That should make this car really fast. But I bet it doesn't, because although the car doesn't look that big, it still is. Although it doesn't have much interior space at the boot, it still takes up the same amount of space on the outside. So I'm going to have to drive it to find out just how good it is. Here's another thing I like. Look, an actual key. No stop-start thingy anywhere. Not one of those things where you have to find somewhere to put your key where you're not going to lose it, and then have a button to rely on. Nothing jumping out of the dashboard, none of this fancy tricksy stuff that actually looks fantastic until it stops working. What you can come to expect from any Honda is something that you just get in and drive. It just comes natural to you. All the buttons are in the right place, it steers and stops, and changes gear in the way that you'd expect it to do. And this one does, because it's an automatic, so that's double easy. I like to do a bit of guesswork when it comes to car reviews, and that is to just feel what I think it actually is, rather than spending ages on Wikipedia the night before, reading articles, reading other people's reviews, other people's opinions, of which I might not even agree with. But to simply get in it, tell you what I feel, tell you how much power I think it's got. So I do know it's got about 200 brake horsepower, but I would imagine this car is 1,804 kilos, which makes it really heavy. And that means that it would be okay to pick its feet up all right, but it's not going to be rapid. It's going to be a bit on the not so rapid side. 0 to 60 is going to be 9.2 seconds, and you'll probably struggle to get 26 miles per gallon out of it. Especially if you drive it expecting that 200 brake horsepower to really get you moving somewhere. I've not been instructed to thrash this car, so I won't do. But I'm going to drive it properly though. That's how it picks up without the kick down, which isn't really very much. Then what I'm going to do is come off this roundabout and use the paddles to change down itself. There we go, change down, picks up, change gear. That's rather pleasant. It really isn't rapid, but it does have a lovely secure feel to it. The steering's really precise, and it feels really grippy, and just, it has a little bit of sportiness to it, which doesn't really surprise me because of course Honda and what they do and what they did involve lots of sportiness. It really grips on the bends. It's just actually a very predictable, very pointable, very easygoing car. And I should really like this, because if the car manufacturer Rover didn't find themselves falling out ever so slightly with Honda and climbing into bed with BMW, they could have been still here making cars like this, which to my mind are still better made, more interesting. And the other thing is, when you drive a Honda, people don't just automatically assume you're a sorry BMW drivers. I know quite a few BMW drivers, and they're all quite nice people. But the fact that I've got to clarify this and say, oh, this person drives a BMW, and guess what? He's not even a knobhead, does tell you quite a bit about assumptions. But on the subject of Honda Rover, in the 90s, they were basically the same car, with Rover having a bit more styling going on, and Honda being really the cheaper version of the Rover. Fit and finish, quality of materials were the same. And that's why I'm thinking this. This car is only 5 years newer than the last 75. Yeah, it's much better. It's not as stylish, but it's so much better put together. There are no pretend quality bits going on anywhere. I don't really believe I'm going off the points, I'm just making an observation on how car manufacturers go completely wrong by being involved with the wrong people to be involved with. This car will be great with a manual box, I think, because it is lacking power. And I don't really say that kind of thing very often, but actually I think it would be nicer if it did just go a bit more, but only a bit. The car's owner has had it for 7 years. That's a very long time to have a car, don't you think? Unless, of course, it just happens to do everything you want and doesn't let you down. I can't see it would do. I bet this is one of those cars that has never ever not gone on when you've turned the key. It's a curious car because it's not in the slightest bit exciting, yet it does everything just right. Honda have this reputation for being driven by old people. People don't tend to get that old unless they're nice. Being grumpy, being horrible, is more likely to see you down the path of terminal illness. So, where am I going with this? Yeah, Honda made some very exciting cars, like the Integra Type R, like the Accord Type R, like the Prelude, like the CRX, all very exciting. But then they made a load of cars that really aren't exciting, but you know, you can depend on them. And that's what this one is. I like it, I respect it, but I'm not really excited by it. Would I have one? Well, no, I don't think so. In conclusion then, this is a car that I can respect. I can like it, but I don't really want one. I just like the older model a bit too much more than this, style-wise. Whether it's a better car or not, it probably isn't. I mean, this is a very, very good car. It's just that it's... But see, this is the problem. It's not giving me the kind of inspiration I need to talk loads. I can't wax lyrical about something I merely respect. I need to be excited by it. And I'm not. Okay? So, thanks for watching. And if you've a car that you would like me to do one of these reviews on, please get in contact. You can contact me via email. That's in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye. Let's try the reversing camera out. And so, I'm not looking at it. What's the point in having a reversing camera if you don't look at it? It just takes away the necessity or the urge. No, it doesn't. It just, I really don't get reversing cameras. Unless what you're trying to do is getting that far off the vehicle behind you. The rest of the time, that's what your mirrors are for. You cannot beat mirrors for reversing. So that's amongst a few little things I'm not massively